Let's spend 10 to 12 quality minutes with the manager of the Houston Astros. Probably brunching as we speak right now. It's 10:30 in Seattle, 12:30 back here in H-Town. Skipper Joe Espada with us, Matt and Ross. Skip, how are you this afternoon, or I should say this morning? Good morning to you.
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, guys.
All right, let me tell you something right now. This is just me and you talking. If you want to do a GoFundMe for the umpire that was horrific last night behind a home plate, I will help you contribute to your fine if you want me to do that for you next time. I'm there for you on that.
Listen, I tried. I think, I gave Larry a piece of my mind. I think he knew that he missed some pitches, and he couldn't throw me nor Scott Service out of the game last night.
Yeah,
we both tried.
Yeah,
honestly.
The reality is, Joe, it wasn't just us; it was them. I mean, it was just a bad night. And for those that want to respect the sport and the umpires, and we certainly do, because it's a very difficult job. There was just way too much last night that I think both sides had and look, Jeremy Pena was clearly affected by it, and the 4 strikeouts for him yesterday. Do you pull him aside and say, hey, man, sometimes those type of things are going to happen?
No, they don't want to. The players don't want to hear that. They want to see the umpires do a better job in calling balls and strikes. I want to fight for the players. I don't want the players to let those calls affect our at-bats or, our ability to compete. That's our job. And like I said, me and Scott Service would both try to do our best to get our point across. But, Larry has always had a big strike zone, and he knows it. He looked over both of us, and he's trying to play his case, but he just missed a ton of pitches. You're right.
All right, let's get to the game itself. Framber had the tough first inning settled down for you. The bullpen did its job as well. What were some takeaways from what you saw from, say, Framber after inning number 1?
You know what? He actually settled down. His sinker was more like the action of his sinker was much better in the first inning. His two-seamer kind of stay up and flatten it up, and he got hit around a little bit in the first inning. But after that, the changeup, the breaking ball, much better job executing. His tempo was much better, getting quicker outs, quicker innings. He threw the ball really well. He gave us a chance to win.
We heard that there was supposed to be some imaging done with Christian Javier and Jose Abreu. Do you have any updates on that?
So, I'll get some updates when I get to the ballpark here in the next hour. But right now they were both getting seeing the doctors this morning, getting some imaging done. So I'll have some information once I get to the ballpark and I speak to the media around 4:00.
Was there any part of you that when you heard of both guys going, here we go again, we can't stay healthy for a period of time, that every team goes through this, but you're trying to assemble a 5-man rotation and put some competition with some of those guys, and Lord knows you probably could go for a 6-man with a lack of days off. This had to be kind of news you didn't want to hear.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough all season, and then it's throughout the league. A lot of starters have gone down, a lot of pitchers have gone down, and it's frustrating because you're trying to get back into the race, and you get this punches on the gut. But I spoke with both pitchers. They're not feeling great about the news, and hopefully we get some good news from the doctors. But it's disappointing because we really want to get these guys back. We need them back in our rotation, and that's not the case. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Staying with the pitchers, how often do you get updates on Lance and Luis and JP these days?
Daily. I get a report from those guys daily, from our trainers. JP still no throw. Lance, he's continued to improve, and he's moving in the right direction. Like Luis Garcia is the one that is ahead of schedule. He'll start facing some hitters here pretty soon, and hopefully we'll get him going here on a rehab assignment.
Well, that's very encouraging on that. Tell us what it was like when Jose jumped back into the fray with you guys, arriving in the clubhouse, kind of good to see you, we missed you, that kind of thing. And then when you set up a lineup card, do you pull them aside and say, here's what I'm thinking you're going to do? Have you discussed in terms of how much playing time, whether you're platooning or DHing, what has it been like the last, say, 24 hours having him back with you overall?
You know what, the guys, we're really excited to have him back. The coaching staff, we all pulling for Jose. We told him how proud we are of the work he's done. 2 weeks down in West Palm Beach to get his swing back, to get his mental, preparation back. It's, being a veteran, being in the big league for so long and taking that assignment is not easy. And I tip my cap to him. I told him that. I said, dude, listen, we all very proud of you and the work you've done. And listen, his swing looks different. In the batter's box yesterday, the timing was better. There was some mechanical adjustment, very noticeable, and he hit that ball hard to right center field. He got on top of that fastball, something that he's been having trouble with. But he did a really good job. And, we had a conversation about his playing time. The only way we could find out if those changes he made are working is by him playing. So he's going to get playing time. Same as John, there's some DH for both of them. There's some first base playing time for both of them. We need all these guys to continue to contribute. We need the entire roster for us to compete and get to where we want to get to. So everybody's going to get an opportunity to play.
As a manager, as you know, you do have to have difficult conversations with people, and I imagine you had to have one with Joey Loperfido.
Yes. Also, Joey came up here. He did a really good job for us. But it was kind of a numbers things right now. It's hard very difficult to get him some playing time and getting McCormick back, getting Abreu back. Jordan will play some outfield on days that Framber Valdez pitches. So it was just hard to get him some at-bats. And for us to finish his development, he needs everyday at-bats. He needs everyday reps at first base. He needs everyday reps in the outfield. And unfortunately, right now, that's not the case here at the big league.
Joe Espada with us here on Sports Talk 790. I asked you a few weeks ago about what's the bigger challenge, maneuvering through a bullpen or maneuvering through a lineup, and it feels like right now, because you got Chaz back and you've obviously got Jose back, you're having to do some wiggling about who's playing left field, who's playing center on occasion, who's playing first base and DH. Is that what's probing your mind these days of how to get everybody the playing time? Because Chaz wants to get back out there and contribute as well, and you're getting him and trying to get Jose in there on a regular basis. That's got to be some interesting times for you trying to formulate your lineup.
Yeah, and I think and very important communication. Talking to those guys to make them understand that listen, we got to get everyone involved. This is my plan. This is the games that I see you playing, and our guys want to play. That's their attitude. They all want to contribute. They all want to be part of it. And but yeah, it's been tricky. But we have some. It's also nice to have pieces on the bench that can come off the bench and can pinch hit. You could run with some of those guys. Dubon is one of those guys that's also the versatility, swinging the bat well. So. Finding him some playing time is also, kind of a tricky part of the puzzle right now.
Also, another part of the puzzle, which I think is, we thought we saw a little bit of bounce back in Alex's bat. It has suffered a little bit in the last week or so, and I know there's a lot of folks that would like to know about the decisions to continue to bat him fourth. Where do you see that? I know you want to put confidence in him. I also know he feels comfortable in that spot, but right now the productivity is just not there.
Yeah, and I talked to Bregman yesterday. I'm going to drop him to fifth today. If we look at his last 2 weeks of production, his OPS is close to 800. He doesn't appear to be, but his at bats actually have been solid. He has walked more. He's gone, he's hitting the ball hard. Just no luck behind him. He's gotten some hits. It's just we haven't seen the Alex Bregman, the consistency in Alex Bregman that we've seen in the past, and I get that. But the quality of the at-bats actually have been there. Balls are not falling in there for him. So the plan is now to probably put him back in that fifth spot somewhere where we got him going a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully we could get him going and get some production from those guys in the middle of the lineup because, we need some big hits from those guys for us to take the load off some of the guys that right now have been carrying the team for the first 2 months of the season.
In Alex's case, because he's such a student of the game, is there sometimes, and this could be just him, it could be a variety of other players, Skip, that they overthink the subtleties of the swing change, whether it's a video, whether it's extra batting cage time, or do you think as a major league player, it's just part of the process where you're always having to make subtle adjustments when you get to the plate and when you do it before and during the game?
You know, I think you make adjustments during the game. I think you make adjustments, you know, at bat, sometimes pitch by pitch. And it's a feel thing. I think the guys get in the batter's box or they go in the cage, and if something doesn't feel right, by nature, you want to get that feel where you feel like, you know what, I'm on my legs. You know, I feel the barrel out in front. I'm staying inside the ball. And you have to tweak your swing just to make sure that you feel and you see the ball in the zone with plenty of time so you'll be able to attack. Every hitter do that. You know, some hitters are able to make that adjustment quicker and they get results right away. I just think that, you know, Bregman is not getting the results right away. But he's always been a guy that makes adjustment at bat to at bat, you know, game by game, just to make sure that he feels comfortable in the batter's box. And you know, so far this year, he hasn't been able to get the results that he's gotten in years past.
We'll wrap up on a high note, Skip. Jake Myers, you told, and the organization did, this was his job in center field for the most part, even going back to the beginning of spring training. And defensively, great catch last night. His bat's been ridiculously comfortable. To me, that's been the most positive storyline of this year, is you gave a lot of faith in a guy, and he's not let you down in terms of his performance, both offensively and defensively, especially on the offensive side.
No, yeah, he's been terrific. He's one of those guys who were just talking about making adjustments, day by day, at bat by at bat. He's been able to do those adjustments at bat by at bat, laying off some tough pitches, really handling, you know, the fastball, being on time. The work he's done to be in the spot that he's right now, I tip my hat to him because he has worked really, really hard. His confidence also, just getting it about his back, you get that sense that he knows exactly what he wants to do every at bat, and the production that we've gotten for him has been remarkable. And we got to keep him going because right now he's getting some big hits for us.
Skip, great visit as always. We'll talk again next week. Enjoy your rest of your trip, and look forward to seeing you back at home next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
You got it. Joe Espada joining us here on the Matt Thomas Show. And again, if you did not catch moments ago, Joe announcing that he's going to bat Alex Bregman fifth. It's just the right thing to do. And I think Alex has to understand that. And I think he does.
I like that Joe's been doing that. I mean, if you've been performing, we're bumping you up. If you haven't been performing, we're bumping you down.
And the reality
Simple
is,
as that.
I know guys like consistency, but baseball's an inconsistent world. It just is.
Yeah, I mean,
and you got to go with the hotter
outside
hand.
of the first inning. I mean, you can be coming up at any time. So.
Yeah. All right, 12:43 on the Matt Thomas Show. If you want to comment on anything that he had to say, 713-212-5790, 713-212-5790. 12:43. It's a Matt Thomas Show, and this is Sports Talk 790.